Hello, and welcome to my universe. So, let's say last time I couldn't decide if I wanted to draw her from the front or the back here, so I was kind of deciding the last bit of the pose, and I have ultimately decided it's going to be the front. And what it came down to, both kind of did what I wanted, but I ultimately decided that the front of the outfit was going to be more fun to design than the back. So it ended up being very simple. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be really hard to decide things in the heat of the moment. Anyway, I am locking in my choice, so I am deleting the other layer. So, there we go. And I'm still gonna keep it black there, just... I don't know. I always feel like whenever I draw like this and I don't make it look like skin, YouTube is less likely to bonk me. So I've gotten the habit of just drawing the body as a solid black with the occasional bit of line in there to help me out. Okay. So today I'd like to get the rest of the pose in, and then I'll start kind of refining the face a bit. So here we go. I think the basics of the pose are all looking pretty good. So let's actually get some clothes on her. I'd like to get things into a state where I would actually have a nice thumbnail instead of the kind of jank one I got right now. Just because... Yeah, the last stream for this one was really interesting for me. I liked it a lot. I greatly enjoyed just being able to go in, ramble about art for a bit, and then go into actually drawing stuff. I might do it again sometime. Or, you know, maybe I'll do some whole streams on it. If I get good ideas, or something that I just really want to talk about. Okay. So, a part of the point of this kind of silhouette... Yeah, I guess I can point to the thing here instead of my little doodle up here, but, This kind of silhouette has you very tight, kind of through your legs here. It makes your legs look nice and long, and, your waist look very pretty, and it's all very nice. And I think it should still work fine, even though Katya here is a little bit on the skinny side. I do think this kind of silhouette works really well for people with well-defined hips, but I don't think you necessarily need them to look really nice. Well, I guess I shouldn't say well-defined. I should say large. I do think you kind of need well-defined hips. If you're just kind of straight through here, you might have a bit of trouble. But it's all good. Okay. So now I kind of want to get the direction for the tail here, and I'll add all the frills and stuff later. I am mostly focused on a silhouette right now. So I wanted to go out a little bit further this way because her leg is kind of moving in that direction. Right now, I think I want to make it a little bit more obvious through there what her legs are doing. But, yeah, no. This is fine for now. And I think it actually needs to become a tail a little bit higher up. As when I look at where her knee is, it's right here. So this needs to come there. Oh, man. You hear my phone ringing. I just got a spam call. I decline it, but I'm doing my best to make the spammers think that this is a dead number. And if you decline it, it makes it clear that it's a live number, and people just don't want to deal with their shenanigans. But if you ignore it completely, they're more likely to go away. I have had considerably less spam calls since I started doing that. It's fantastic. Just gotta sit there and tolerate the phone ringing for a little bit, and then all is well. I just remember many, many years ago, I went through a period where I was just getting such a high volume of spam calls that I basically just stopped answering my phone entirely. And this is why nobody can contact me by phone anymore, because I just associate phones with a spam and people trying to sell me stuff. I never liked them in the first place, but I started hating them even more when that happened, and frankly, there are times when I've considered just giving it up entirely and just never using phones. Coming up with other ways to be contacted. But, kind of hard to do, unfortunately. Life is hard. People want things to be too convenient, I swear. Don't want to allow the suffering into their life like they should. Terrible! No wonder people have so much trouble just tolerating things going wrong. Like, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Everything will work out okay. Okay, and like I said, I wanted to... Oh, I don't have the layer locked. I thought I did. For some reason, my computer keeps thinking that I'm double-clicking when I'm single-clicking, and it's been driving me nuts. So sometimes it would just think I'm double-clicking here, and then it would lock the layer and then unlock it immediately, and this helps no one. I just like, computer, why you gotta be like this? I just want to be friends. So anyway, I just want to get a little bit of the general gist of where things are here, and I mentioned that I wanted to know a little bit more about where the legs are and stuff, and this is the kind of thing that'll help with that. Folds. Folds will make it a little bit more clear what's happening in the legs. Okay, so that should be good. At least for now. So there we go. We got a little bit of indication of what the leg is doing, and got a little bit of indication of how frilly this bottom part is. I'm not going to draw in all my colors yet. It's too soon. It's way too soon. So it is just not yet time, and I want this to be a little bit more of an extreme fishy tail. So there we go. Let's pull that out just a little bit more. That looks nice. I think I can get behind this for now. So I have had some ideas for the top part. I'm still kind of thinking of how I want to do this, and choices are hard. So the big thing that I think I want to do is one thing that can make dresses look kind of nice. Let's... Especially this kind of dress. I do feel like it has to emphasize the curves of the body very heavily. And hello there, Protox. Welcome back. Alright, thank you. I appreciate it. So yes, I do think that this kind of dress has to emphasize the curves of the body quite a lot, or it just doesn't look as good. So I'll be kind of designing it like that. So this red part is going to go around the chest a little bit more, and then the black part that I kind of have outlined here is going to go over that. It's going to be all sparkly. It'll be great. Look, glitter makes everything better. That is why my body is just totally covered with the stuff. I love glitter. I love glitter so much. So I kind of want this kind of shape here. So I know that there's a running gag with her and her past life about how every artist kind of inflates her chest a little bit, makes it bigger than she typically asks for. And while I think it works here, I am actually going to go out of my way to make it a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. She's still going to have the mature vibes and all that, but I kind of want to embrace that. And she's just going to be, you know, a little bit skinny and stuff there. I'm still going to say mostly true to the body type and design, but I have thoughts here. Right now, she might be a little bit too skinny relative to the size of her head. I might need to reduce the size of her head and then, you know, resize things and all that usual stuff, because proportions are my bane, but that's fine. Let's see, this is going to be like, I'll call it top. Okay. But there are plenty of other things that I'm largely keeping one-to-one. And a lot of that is the colors. Because I think her color scheme is fantastic and suits her perfectly. So that's why you notice when we look over here, I have added no colors. No new colors, I should say. The closest that I've done is I've made certain parts transparent. And I guess that technically makes a new color since it's half skin tone, half black. But it's still ultimately the same color. Alright, let's get a shadow color in here. And all that, it's a design choice. It's a choice. When designing alternate outfits, I don't think you actually have to do that. It's just something I kind of like to do. Couldn't tell you why, but there are times. I think it makes it look a little bit more like themselves. It keeps a little bit of consistency between the design and everything else. I think that's probably a little bit too big. Hello there, Tito. Welcome back. What's wrong? All right. Oh. I'm still kind of thinking about how I want to handle this upper part and whether or not the sleeve should be a little bit more red. I do think that most of it has to be black, but it's just like, where do I start making it black? And that's tough. So I still have some designing to do. Oh, what do you mean? So far, you know, other than maybe the head being giant, I think it looks pretty okay. I haven't done my head proportions yet. Right now, I'm just mostly focused on the design of the dress. Okay. So yeah, right now I'm thinking about how all of this is going to drape over the shoulders and stuff. And I haven't quite decided yet. Because I think I like the idea of a little sleeve kind of like this, kind of coming over there. I think that might look nice. She is if you're talking about Katya, the person I'm drawing here, I'm designing an alternate outfit. She is a casino owner, basically a mafia boss. Yes. So when it comes to, like, political intrigue stuff, which seems to be something that her character is into, or, you know, that the pilot is into, one of the things that just always comes up in those things are, like, a masquerade ball. So I'm designing a ball gown, and I couldn't decide if I wanted her to be in a dress or a suit, so I'm gonna do both. And right now I'm focusing on the dress side. And then over here, I'm gonna get rid of my doodles, and I'm gonna put the suit side over there. And they're just going to be mirror images of each other. The only thing that's going to change is the outfit. So we're going a fancy Victorian manner with a nice little kind of a ball gown dress. Just a little bit more modern and shapely. I decided to go with the mermaid tail design instead of the basically turn you into a marshmallow look. So I'm still just kind of sketching out some of my thoughts here. Figuring out what the sleeves are going to look like. And I am only moderately worried about proportion in the meantime. It's fine. I know I'm gonna have to adjust it a lot. It's fine. Okay. Let's start getting the arms. And I guess I'll get the neck too. You are locked? Okay. And I guess I'll start getting some shadows in there for the skin as well. No, I don't like that color. Let's try a different one. Her skin is very light, so it can be hard to do proper color mixing, but I still prefer doing it like that than just picking colors. I might have to some extent, though. Is that really the color that I went with? Okay. No, her skin is too light. I gotta just pick one. That's fine. Okay, I think I want it to be a little darker than that. The way I normally pick colors, I just like set my brush to overlay or multiply. But sometimes it just doesn't quite work. But that's okay. I can cheese it with hue saturation. So all is well. and just pick that way. Why is my brush weird? Oh. Because the opacity is wonky. Whatever. I forgot that I toned it down in order to try to mix the color. Okay. And you know what? I shouldn't put too much detail into the face here because I'm going to be referencing the artist that did the art for this game because I really like the way that he does faces. So I'll put in the information I need in order to get the pose right. But I'm not going to do any more than that because I'm going to be doing kind of a deep analysis on that particular artist and the art in that game, and I'm going to try to steal his techniques. Gotta do my best. It'll be great. I already talked a little bit about the beginning when I was talking about why I like this person's art and whatnot. And it was a really good time. I really like just rambling about that. Probably, most fun on stream I've had in a while. It was great. There's so many just little things that go into art that I just don't think get enough appreciation. And it's just so tiny sometimes. And I just really liked just looking at it. So I look forward to getting into the shading on this one because then I get to stare at nice art again. And see if I can pull some things in from that. All right. So yes, the hand will be tilted out this way. This arm is not nearly long enough. I know I said that I only kind of care about the proportions right now, but, you know, there are limits. And once again, I'm gonna try to keep her pretty skinny. I still get a generally a skinny elf vibe from her design, so I'm sure she'd be terribly offended if I said that, but it is true. So I'm gonna make her limbs just a little bit longer than what I would normally do, which is not happening yet, but it's okay. I'll get there. We'll just keep cutting up her arm until I'm satisfied. The true flail method of drawing, one that I am well versed in. think I want the arm to come out a little bit more, and then I can have this part come in a little bit more. And her hand go out a little bit more, and that might actually be a little bit too long. I'm gonna fill it in before I decide such things. Yeah, probably a little. It's okay. Like I said, the true flail method of drawing. It'll be great. And then her elbow's gonna be like right there. The arms will overlap right about there. And there'll be like arm shapes and stuff. That'll be for later. That's a problem for future me. Present me doesn't need to really concern herself with arms. It's all good. And now I have to decide what I want to do with this one. I came up with a few ideas last time of, you know, maybe she's holding something else. Maybe it's interacting with something behind her. I could also see it just resting on her hip like this or something. I don't know. So, you know what? I guess I might as well just try some things. I could also put it behind her, because then I don't even have to be drawing something, and it makes her look more suspicious. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with this arm eventually. I know it needs to go, like, this direction. As for why? Pose balance, I guess? Best way I can describe it, it's like I've got this one going up this way, and her head is like all up there and all that. So yeah, I don't know what I want to do with that arm yet. I'm gonna do it later. That sounds like another good problem for future me. So I think that's the basic idea here, the basic silhouette. I do plan to draw kind of a sheer translucent cape back there. I guess I can start getting that in here. Let's do that. I'm not quite sure how it connects to the rest of the dress yet. I think that's okay. That'll be another thing I just gotta figure out later. But I don't know. There's just something that feels a little bit wrong without a little bit of a cape. Kinda adds to the feeling of being perhaps a little bit sinister, so I dig it. About the only reason I really wanted to draw arms right now was because I wanted to experiment with sleeves. And this is definitely not accurate enough for me to be able to experiment with sleeves, so since it's the one that I know what I want to do with, I guess I should work a little harder on it. Okay. So thumb goes toward the body in this one. I keep drawing hands backwards, so I am being very particular. I'm just thinking about hand pose. So the fingers back here are going to be kind of wrapped around like that, and then she's going to be holding something, and those ones will come out, and the thumb will grab the rest. It'll be kind of like that, and that's fine for now. Let's try to get this arm making sense. Okay. Yeah. Arms. They will just always haunt me, I swear. Okay. I hate it. I'm gonna try again. So I've been having a new way of trying to think about arms, and it's been helping me a little bit. Before, when I thought about arms, I would think of it like this, where you have the first part of the arm, then you have the elbow, and then you have the next part of the arm. And instead, what I've been doing is you have the first part of the arm, and then you have the second part of the arm. I am skipping the elbow part. And the elbow just goes onto the forearm instead. So this way I can think of it as 2 rectangles. So I'm going to try to think of it as 2 rectangles. So with the arm going out like this, I know I'm going to be wanting her hand right about here. So I'll go ahead and draw the hand at the angle that I want it at. And then I will draw in the arm. So it's going to be kind of like that. We're going to have the fingers going over. So just kind of like that. And then the other ones are going to be holding something. So I'm not going to draw them very strongly yet. They are going to be holding her mask. Whatever mask I decide I want to design. There's a lot you can do with masquerade style masks. So I do plan to pick that up. And for now, you know, whenever I make a pose of holding something, it's kind of like that. Okay, and then I know that this arm, I think it's coming partially towards us, right? I should actually think about that. I know it's not going away, but I should think about how much it's coming towards us. Because that's too much. It's going just a little bit more to the kind of side there, so I want this oval to be a bit smaller. Let me turn it into a square, because squares are easier. I don't care if arms are cylindrical. Squares are easier for me to understand. Okay, and then I just get the other part of her arm going in there, and indeed, I do think it faces... So there's the wrist, and then the top part of the arm will just kind of come up here, like that. There we go. Sometimes I just gotta break it down. Sometimes I just gotta break it down a little. I think this part of the arm might still be a little short, though. That's fine. Because all I gotta do is slide it down just a touch, and eventually it'll be the right shape. Okay. I think I can live with that for now. Maybe with this part just turned in a little closer to her face. I want that hand to be pretty close to her face. Okay. No idea what I want to do with this arm yet, but that's okay. Let's go and do some experiments with sleeve. And so I feel like when it comes to designing stuff, just starting with what you know is a great way to start. And then, as I start seeing more elements, I can start designing more things, and it'll become easier. And I do know that I kind of like the idea of these somewhat transparent sleeves. I think that they will look quite nice. I'm not sure how I feel about the red parts draping over them yet. That I'm still gonna have to mess around with. Okay. Oh yeah, I like the kind of transparent sleeves, and then I also know that on her, she's gonna be wearing gloves. I do feel like that is like a requirement, and she strikes me as the type that would wear gloves because touching people is disgusting. So, I'm gonna go with that. So just something like that. And from there, I'm going to start kind of feeling out trim and some of these other design things. That'll just make things look nice. I do like the silhouette so far. I think it's working pretty well. I might change some stuff around the stomach. I haven't quite decided yet. A lot of this is, you know, just exploring ideas for the time being. Alright, let's put in some trim. Gonna put all of this into a group. The body too, actually. And then we'll plop in some of this gold trim that I'm planning. I think I like it going around the wrist there. And it definitely has to go all the way around here. That'll look pretty nice once I get it right. Not sure about everything else yet. But okay, I think this is a reasonable start. I like the silhouette. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the sleeves yet, but I can figure that out in a little bit. And I can figure out what I want to do with this other arm. Right now, the thing bothering me most is probably proportions. The head is way too big relative to the body. So I can either make the body bigger or the head a little bit smaller. I think for this one, it probably makes sense to make the body a little bigger. It amounts to about the same thing. I just want to make sure I show enough of this little train down there. And right now, I actually think I lost a little bit too much of it. So I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of both, making the body bigger and the head a little smaller. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the train there. I want this to be in the picture. That is important to me. So I will do my best to get some of that in there. I did ultimately decide I didn't want this to be completely full body. But I do want the illustration itself to emphasize the design here. So I will be setting things up for that specifically. So once I kind of get the head a little bit more proportionate here, the next thing I'd like to do is start getting the colors in the background right. I just kind of left everything gray because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And, you know, for what I was doing back then, that was totally fine. It gave me a general idea of what I was going to draw, and a little bit of the composition. And for right then, that was fine. But now I gotta go a little further. Let's see, I don't think her neck is quite in the right spot. I just don't feel like it is sitting centered on her shoulders right now. So I'm gonna go push it over a little bit. Oh yeah, there's also one more thing that I want to draw in there. I guess I'll do it on the sleeve layer because I don't feel like making a new one. I wanted to have a kind of translucent turtleneck-like thing here. It's going to be fluffy and frilly. Just kind of like that. And I will put the little bit of trim around the top that I want to be there. Okay, so something like that. I haven't actually decided if I want this to be loose or tight. I'm not actually sure if I like it loose. Okay, but let me try the other thought. Oh yeah, it looks way better tighter. Okay. It won't be frilly then. I changed my mind. It'll just be glittery. Because there's going to be so much glitter on this, and I am just looking forward to putting glitter on everything. Glitter makes everything better. All right. So I think before I can get the proportions perfect, I am going to have to render the face a little bit more and kind of figure out all of that. But before I get too deep into that, I kind of want to do a little bit more on the background. I want to get the colors in. So first I got to kind of put all the stuff I accidentally destroyed back in place. Apparently I did some transformations on the entire group instead of a single layer, and now I am sad. But it's okay, I can fix it. Won't be sad forever. Okay. So then I can hopefully just kind of put some of that back, and I can start putting it all back together. It'll be great. In theory. What are some of these things? Breaking all the things. I'm not actually sure if I like the plants. I want something there. I want something to be nice. But I don't know if I like the plants. I'll think about it. Because when I was initially thinking about these guys here, I was thinking, oh yeah, we can put some roses around the window. I think that suits her, and I think it would look nice. But then I realized that, you know, roses tend to be red. I guess I could make them white roses. And that would probably be fine. Okay, well, for now, I'll worry about that a little bit later. Okay, so this is the trim going around it. Let's fix some of that because this looks really ugly and I don't like it. Okay. But I think that's fine until I decide to render it. Now I just have to decide what color I want all this to be. I want the background to be dark. Because black and red is nice and edgy. And I think that suits her well. That's why, well, one of the many reasons her outfit is going to be mostly black and red here. But I really want her to stand out from the background. And if I make it too dark, is it still going to work? I got this bright window, so I think that'll help. I think I kind of want that to be like these kinds of things are generally held in the evening. So I think I want to go for a kind of a sunset. So I'm going to go for something a little bit pink and purple. As the light sky fades into those nice colors. And then I'll probably put some impressions of trees and stuff outside the window as well. So let's go do that. I'm going to start with the sky color. And then I'm going to layer some of these other colors over it. Let's see, I think I want it to be a little darker than that since it's supposed to be night sky. Or, you know, evening-ish. So we'll get maybe something like that. Do I like that? I think I want it to be a little brighter. It looks a little stormy. Admittedly, a little stormy. No, that's actually perfect. You know, sometimes my hands have good ideas. It being a little stormy is actually kind of perfect. Because some of the design here is kind of inspired by Victorian London. And London is like a perpetual rain. Just all day, every day. So, you know, being a little bit gloomy and stormy is like perfect. Let's go with that then. I'll even make it a little grayer in that case. Okay. Maybe have some signs of clouds out there. Yeah, that sounds good to me. But we can plop some kind of creepy, stormy looking clouds out there. That's the exact atmosphere I want to go for anyway. But now, let's get some of the kind of other colors I want. I'm gonna do it on another layer because I don't trust myself. And I might change my mind a lot here. that sounds like something I do. Because I only have a vague conception at the moment. which is why I'm able to just kind of change my mind and be like, oh, hey, this looks a little bit too stormy. And then I'm like, oh, no, that's good. Let's let it be stormy. Sounds good to me. So I want to get some sunsettiness here. Make it look a little bit more evening. I'm even going to do the other color on another layer because I am still terrified. Don't trust myself to pick the right colors at all. So I'll just get a nice gradient. It'll be nice. That's fine for now. Yeah, before I move on, I think I want to get the general color of the wallpaper. Now, when I look around, I've been looking at various references of the places, and the colors that seem to be the most popular are like yellow, white, adjacent cream, red, sometimes, a more brighter white, and then some kind of wood colors. So I'm vaguely considering red, but like I said, I want her to be standing out a lot. So I'm worried that even a dark red would kind of take away from that. So I think I'm actually going to try wood paneling first. Because that's common in these lovely Victorian mansions. So I'm gonna go for a wood paneling color first. And if that doesn't work, I'll try some other ones. And fortunately, you can have kind of a nice reddish brown for that. So I can potentially still have some of my red as well. This will make the table there a little bit hard to see for a little bit. That's okay. I can live with that for now. That's a little bit too red. Be a little bit less saturated, a little bit more brown for me. Okay, I think I can work with this, and then I'll add some nice wood texturing to the back there. I'm not going to do that yet. I guess if I want to do something just super quick, I can just use the Krita brush for wood, because they have one. Just get my ideas in. Let's see. Brush is a little too big. So there we go. We'll have some vaguely wood back there, and it'll be great. Okay. And then for the windowsill, I want that to be some kind of stone, I think. Or not porcelain, but that kind of texture. Because I don't think I want that to be wood as well. I don't know what kind of metal it is that they use in a lot of these windows. Wood is common from what I've seen. Like I said, I don't think I want wood. So I'm thinking maybe something kind of yellowish. I'm just looking at a few references to maybe find what it is that I'm thinking. Since I'm trying to draw something that already exists, it's pretty common that I'm able to find something kind of similar to what I'm looking for, if not exact. Just because there are so many images out in the internet, I swear. And so I can kind of use that to refine what's already in my head. I like to have a clear conception first. Most of the time. You know, when I'm trying to... When the decision I'm trying to make matters. If it doesn't, which, does happen sometimes. Because I'm not overly focused on a particular thing, so... If I just want to draw any generic couch, I might just look up couch on the internet and draw that. At that point, it doesn't matter. But when I do have just a vague idea, I try to refine it as much as possible before I go looking for references, because otherwise, well, it'll get real unfortunate, because I'll just draw what I see instead of what's lingering in my head. You know, that's just very sad. So let's see. Something vaguely yellowish. I say vaguely because it's still going to be kind of in the brown cream territory. So maybe like around here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty okay. Maybe just a little brighter and a little darker. Okay, yeah, it works for me. All right. And then the color of the window itself. My initial thoughts were definitely more toward the grayscale. But if I'm going to have that yellow for some of the stuff around it, might make sense to use the same color? I'm not sure, actually. I'm going to put something there. And then I'm going to adjust it. Because I do think I want it to be darker than that. Maybe this would make more sense toward the brown that I kind of have going for back here. Maybe that's a better starting point. Fortunately, this part I am just less sure about. Because the style is quite clear in my head, but the color is not. Nah, this works, actually. Okay. I had to think about it for a second, but no, I think this is fine. So now that table. My initial thoughts had it very much in the browns, but now I think I kind of want it in this yellow. Things change all the time, it's fine. I'll still keep the inside that dark brown. I think that dark brown is pretty alright. And there'll be some other patterns on there. So some of this brown is still gonna show up there. I think leaving it kind of like that is fine for now. I think it gives the general gist of what's going on in my head. And then as for this part up here, this is all just kind of paneling. And there are some patterns on there that I think I want to be in the golds. But for the most part, what I think I'm actually going to do with it is just leave it a shadow color for the background. So let me go pick one. Works for me. All right. Oops, wrong there. So it's just going to be some basic paneling, and it'll just stay kind of this brown with a gold trim, and it'll all look much neater later. Now, looking at this window, I do think I want it to be a bit brighter than this. More than a bit, actually. This is where I have to think. I do. I have to think about it, because part of me likes kind of the overcast idea, but no, I think for the sake, especially considering how dark the composition is, I gotta do it like this. It can still... Actually, I don't have to kill the layers. Okay. But I do need it to be very bright. We'll just leave the subtle hints of color in there. Let's see if I can find something that I like here. Well, we'll just play with the blend modes a little bit. Does this leave it bright enough? I think it does. Okay, and I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to the size of some things because I have decided that I would actually like this window to be just a little bit shorter. So I'm just gonna squish it. Okay, I'm not gonna include the table. I'm just gonna do the window. Come on. Just the window. I changed my mind. I just want to do the window now. So I just want this to frame her a little bit better, and I want a little bit less of her legs in there. I want it to end right about at her hips. And I still want the top part of her head, the white part, to be in this darker brown area. Because that is what I will contrast her the best, I think. Hello there, Shinora. Welcome back. Okay. And then just for my own sanity, I'm going to put a dark color back there so I can see where the table is. Because otherwise I'm going to have no idea. Oh, thank you. Okay. Now these candlesticks. What color would I like them to be? Gold would be the most obvious, but I'm not quite sure if it's the color I want. I don't think silver works here though, so that does kind of suggest gold. So let's go ahead. I'll just use the color here for now, but I'm going to kind of adjust it based on my whimsy, I guess. All right, neat. Okay. So now the last couple of things I got to figure out. Plants. And then the flowers going up there, if I want to keep them. I'm still not sure if I do. I'll leave them there for now, but I do know I want these plants, so I'm going to color them, and they just need to be a dark green. So that'll be nice and easy at least. I'll leave the color pretty desaturated. I don't want them to draw attention to themselves like at all. They're just there for a little bit of, I don't know, niceness, I suppose. All right, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Okay. And that all seems fine. Today is just a day where everything is fine. Then, let's see, for the pots that they're in, I have lots of options. But I kind of want to keep it muted, so I think I'm just going to make it brown again. I'm going to make it a slightly lighter brown. And then I'll put a little bit of gold trim on it here. So it will just have a nice little gold pattern, doing pattern things on it. I don't know. So that seems okay. And I actually do think that I want a little bit of pot, a little bit of the plant pot here showing on the other side. And he will also get, you know, nice little patterns doing pattern things. Okay. Okay, and you know what? I'm kind of digging the flowers here now. So I'll go ahead and just kind of color in that. I know I don't want them to be red. There's no red allowed here. Only she is allowed to be red. But I have to pick a different color. I don't know. What about a light pink? I don't like it. But I'll go ahead and color them all in like this for now. Just so that this way I can pick a color this way. And I know I'm changing the color of the green. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Ooh. Okay, somewhere in the white-yellow range. Actually looks pretty nice. So I'm going to take that color. And then I actually, while I was jokingly coloring everything red, I actually kind of liked it. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do get to be red. So I'm going to color in those, take a look. And now I'm going to make them that nice yellow that I was kind of looking at before. No, the red actually looks really good. I'm surprised. I thought for sure that it would take away, but with the way that they're surrounding her, I think it actually works. In that case, we're gonna draw a few more going around up here, with another big one just up at the top. And it's gonna be like that. It's just gonna go around. And in that case, I'm gonna draw a few kind of going around the candles down here, too. These might be a little bit too evenly placed right now. I do kind of want to figure that out because this is composition time. This is when I should have everything compositionally figured out. I'll put a big one here, and maybe a couple little ones around here. Maybe none right there. And we'll just start slowly decorating the whole thing out. Just one up there, though. And I don't mind this being a little bit more symmetrical. I don't want one by her head. I just want something nice and dark. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, I think I can be happy with how the general composition is now. So, the next thing is I want to blend her in with the composition. So that's going to be with a lighting layer. So first I'm going to get my dark in. And then I'll put in the lighter spots. This is a little bit too dark, I think. I'll go ahead and plop it in for now, and then I'll pick the color at the end. And look, don't worry. Someday she'll get an arm. I gotta figure out what to do with that arm, though. It's true. I gotta figure that out. So anyway, we're gonna do some nice backlighting again because I like it lots. You know, looking at her now, maybe it's not too dark. I think I want this color to be a little bit yellower. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but I think it'll look nice. Actually, you know, let's just try the pink for now. I'll see how it shakes out. And if I don't like it, I'll change the color after. Yeah, this isn't quite doing it for me. It's not loud enough. But this should look great on like the frilly parts of her dress here. I am really looking forward to drawing that. That's going to be great. Okay. So I'm going to pick a different color. Yeah, I still kind of like the more yellow areas. But this still has a little bit of pinkness to it, so I think it should be fine. And given the way that I feel about the lighting on her, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of yellow lighting in the window too. There we go. And you know, this should help her just feel maybe a little bit more vaguely ominous, and it'll be lovely. Okay, so something like that. This is my basic ideas here. So now I think I'm just gonna get into cleaning up the face. Or we're gonna go make that look nice. And I will have to apply some additional lighting to the background and whatnot. This is very far from how that's going to be. Do I want to put some of that on there right now? You know what? Sure. Let's do a little bit actually before I go and clean her up. I'm gonna use the same colors because it's convenient. It's always amazing to me just how, like, the worst yellow in the world can look so good. Like, it's so gross. Yet when I turn it to color dodge, it's like, wonderful. All right. Gonna do the dark. Actually, I'm gonna do the light first because that's what I see more clearly in my head. And this time I'm gonna do something a little different than I normally do. And I'm going to use the airbrush to get those colors in. And we're just gonna get some nice soft light around this window here. Hello there, Stoller. All right. Well, I'm glad you think it's cool. And this is Katya Sable. She is a VTuber. She's very amusing. And I'm just designing an alternate outfit because I felt like it. I was just in the mood to design something. So sometimes you just want to design a pretty dress. and so I did. So right now, I'm just figuring out the general composition of it. And after that, I'm going to start getting into, you know, making her face look a little bit less like a potato. Always a good time. Why are you panicking? Because I set you to multiply. Okay, there's some shenanigans happening here, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. Because that color should definitely not be like that. Basically, yes. I would... Let me actually think about a good answer to this. Put my thoughts in order. I would not worry about style for the time being. If my general advice is just to get good at drawing, you draw things. And that all sounds very silly and straightforward to say, but that's basically how it works. So you draw the thing, whatever you want. It's okay, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever makes you happy, whatever seems interesting at the moment. And you look at it, and you try to determine which parts you like and which parts you don't like. Doing both is important. And then you think of like one or two things that you want to do a little bit better in your next drawing. And then gradually you start getting better there. As for what to draw, or how, like, stylistically, if that's what you're talking about there, I think there's two good ways to go about this. First, follow your curiosity. You know, like I said, just draw what makes you happy and whatever sounds interesting for the moment. And two, go look at other art that you really enjoy. Go look at other art, think about what you like about this picture, and try to do something like that. If you want, if you really just don't know what to draw, go find a picture you like and replicate it. Don't trace, but just copy it. So that's where you get things like master studies and the like, where people just pick an old Renaissance painting and redraw it. But you can do this for anything. You can do it for any illustration you find. Just whatever bit of art makes you happy. Just copy it. And you'll start getting a feel for, you know, how things work. Huh. Yeah, it is pretty slow. Art is hard, so it takes a while. If you don't want to use social media, you don't have to. You can just use Google Images, if that doesn't count as social media to you. And if it does, you can go outside and look at a pretty tree. If you find a tree that you find especially pretty, you can go draw that. Or, you know, just anything outside. That works too. Personally, I think outside is very nice. I also like drawing space a lot. So if other websites doesn't count as social media to you, you can go to like NASA and the like and draw that. Or, you know, gallery websites and go look at historical paintings. Or, you know, even modern paintings of the modern day. Or just any art from a video game that you think is interesting. If you're trying to avoid video games, there's still promotional images that you can find out in the wild, or even just on the interweb, or on Google, or whatever bit of internet you might consider acceptable. So, I mean, there's ways to look for things without going on Twitter. I do not blame you for not wanting to go on Twitter. Why is this not working? This should be doing something different, and I don't know why it's not doing that. Ah, I see. Yeah. That makes sense. You know, that's perfect. Bob Ross is fantastic. So, you know, that's a great place to start. It's like I said, just, you know, whatever happens to make you happy. It's all good. Because literally everything can work. Okay, so something is not working how I'm thinking it should be, so I am a little bit confused. but I think I've got something that's workable. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's a bit weird, but it's fine. For some reason, my multiply layer just was not doing what it was supposed to be doing. And even when I said Krita to just let it happen, it said no, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why it's borked, but whatever, I made it work, so I guess I won't worry about it. It might be a little inconvenient for my next one, but I'm pretty sure I can make it work. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna go back into the head and face. I think she might be just a little bit too skinny. So let's kind of pull that out just a bit. And now that I have a basic idea of how I want things to look, I think this is going to be pretty okay compositionally. I think I'm going to be having to mess around with the lighting a lot. Then, that's fine. I'll deal with that later. But for now, let's just get proportions and stuff in. And I mean, when I was getting started, I only drew on one layer. I basically drew... Yeah, I would literally just draw on one layer, and then a little bit later, I started just doing black and white underpaintings, and then I'd glaze color on top. And I don't really do that anymore. I have found this way works a little bit better for how I think, but yeah, no, it's okay. You can draw on one layer. I know the feel of accidentally drawing things on the wrong layer, though. It could be deeply unfortunate. Especially if you're not intending to. Alright, let's make her face look a little bit less like a potato. I'm gonna get rid of her hair for the time being. Just so this way I can feel out where the face is gonna go, and then... feel out where the face is gonna go, and then get her ears in and stuff. A lot of the time when I draw anime girls, I don't draw ears at all, but her ears are kind of important. She's got those nice little pointy elf ears. And no matter how much she claims to hate them, I think they're an important part of her design. So I should draw them, especially since I'm drawing her with her hair up. Let's see, these cheeks are way too freaking squishy. There we go, that's better. She does not strike me as a squishy cheek type. So I don't want her face to get too round. I want it to be nice, angular, a little bit long, and very much elfy. I swear, just with my descriptions, I am just insulting her left and right here, but it's fine. She wants to shoot me to make herself feel better. It's okay. I don't mind. Alright. It still feels a little bit skewed to me. So we got... Let's see if I can get that to feel a little bit less skewed. Okay, and then from there, I think I just kind of got to get the general gist of the eyes and whatnot. I do feel like I'm at the stage where I got to start caring about more than just the rough placement. All the shapes got to be good. I want to make it look like she's narrowing her eyes a little bit. So I think I'm gonna make her irises just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. And because of how I drew that, I want to make sure that I get the eye whites and stuff in as well. I had skipped that last time because that wasn't really important until just now. So, as always, a structure before details. Because if you do it the other way around, you're going to have a bad time. It's so much easier to place details and whatnot when you understand how things are supposed to be structurally. Okay, there we go. Just had to reorder my layers. Okay. Man, her face really does still look like a potato. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm not quite sure what's making it so potato-like right now, but it feels very tuber adjacent. So... Okay, what are her eyes shaped like again? When drawing the anime girl, I do like to make sure that her eyes retain some of the shape. Because anime doesn't have a lot of details in the face, actually. They're very, very simplified. Very, very sparse in that regard. So any details that do exist, it's good to try to replicate them. It'll make it look more like the person you're trying to draw. So I do always like to look at my reference images. Make sure that I'm drawing it right. It can be tough sometimes. Because it's a lot of little things. And here I'm narrowing her eyes a little bit, so they're a little bit flatter than they would. That's why this part on the side there is not going down quite as much. I need it to go down a little bit, though. There we go. There we go. I think her eyes might be a little bit big. She's looking maybe a little bit too innocent for the style that I'm going for. So I'll have to feel that out too. And I might even give her a little bit of eye makeup later. Yeah, I think that's appropriate for this kind of design. But that'll be for later. It's not really important right now. Okay. There we go. I think that's pretty okay. I think it looks like they're sitting on her face decently well, and that her head is tilted. And that's what's important for the time being. I'm gonna give her some eyebrows. This is a tough choice. Because on the one hand, some kind of mischievous brows might be kind of funny. But on the other hand, something that looks like this. Like that's still pretty suspicious. I definitely want her to be looking a little suspicious. Ooh, that's tough. Let me try the other pattern of just... Oh, that's pretty good too. Oh man, choices are hard. Choices are so hard. Oh man. Right now I think I gotta go with these ones. Well, we'll see how I feel about it later. But right now, I think I'm going to go with those ones. Okay. So the nose, I'm actually planning on just doing with shading alone. But I kind of need it landmarked so that I know where it's going to be. So I'll just leave it like that for now. And the mouth. Let's see here. I want the smile to be a little bit unpleasant. Just... how do I describe the kind of smile that I'm looking for here? Like she's smiling, but you don't feel happy seeing it. She's definitely plotting against you. And to an outsider, she might still look happy, perhaps. And maybe someone looking in on this encounter here between the viewer and her wouldn't see anything weird about the smile. But there's just something a little bit off about it. So that's why I'm letting the corners kind of go up sharply, but the center of it is very flat. So I just want there to be something a little bit off about it. So I think a smile kind of like this would work pretty well. That's probably sufficiently clean for now. I'll be cleaning up her head a lot later. Right now, I just want to make sure that everything is in place. Because I've got some proportions to figure out. Right now, I think they're a bit wrong. But I can't get them right unless I know how the head is going to look. I tend to base just about everything off of the head. Okay. And I mentioned that I thought her eyes were just a little bit too big, so I'm making them a little smaller here. She's looking maybe just a little bit too innocent for the style that I'm going for, and I wanted her to look a little bit more mature. At least this time, the decision has nothing to do with her scheming or anything, but more to do with just general impression. In anime, if you make the eyes too big, they will look younger and sweeter, and that's just not quite what I want. Alright. So now I'm just trying to align everything a little better. I thought the nose was a little bit too far over. Switching the canvas back and forth here. Just to get a better view of how things are situated. In traditional painting, people recommend getting up and going to do something else for a while to get a fresh look at your painting. And it's solid advice. I also recommend it for digital. But digital, we have an advantage in that if we want a fresh look at our painting, we can just flip the canvas horizontally. And that will often bring out mistakes that you wouldn't expect. It's amazing how different it can look. Okay. That's looking pretty good. The hand is a bit big now. I'm gonna get her hair on before I go too deep into the rest of her body. But there we go. I'm feeling a little bit better about the face now. So, let's get that hair back on. actually think that for the stage that the picture is at, that the hair looks pretty alright. Let's see, I do need to move these strands here. So let's see. Gotta have the black part of the hair on that side. I don't mind it partially covering her eyebrows. I think it's okay. But I do want to make sure that it gives a good idea of how her head is shaped, because this hair is clinging pretty tightly to her head. It's being pulled back into a bun. And so I want to make sure that the shape of the hair reflects that. And she's just gonna have a nice little princessy hairstyle here. I don't know, sometimes when I look at it, I do fear that it makes her look too old. So I'm probably gonna go find a nice reference of this so I can figure out why she's looking a little bit old. I don't think it's the salt and pepper hair colors. So I'm gonna go look that up real quick. Okay. So I kind of know what I'm looking for, but finding the words to actually go search for it on Google is always rough. I guess something like this is okay. But at the very least, I can get the general gist of what makes the person wearing it look a little bit older. So, the search that I ultimately ended up going for was wedding hairstyles, because I think that's very much adjacent to going to like a Victorian era ball. So that makes sense. But a lot of these people have their hair down, which is unfortunate. But so far, what I'm gathering is that the hair should look a little bit looser. Yeah, and I must admit, when I added those little bit of extra strands to the front here and the side, she did indeed look a little bit younger. So yes, I just need to get a lot of loose strands in there, and that should fix my problem. And then I think I was picturing it doesn't show yet. But one thing I do plan on drawing in here is braids going across here, going across the front. And I have also found that if I make those a little bit looser, that I can get the kind of effect I'm looking for. And she will hopefully not look like an old lady anymore. Very important. I definitely don't want to be given the wrong impression there. That would be sad. So I'll go start getting some of those things in. And I'm just going to make this braid here look very loose. So there's going to be all kinds of loose strands. And it's just going to be very poofy and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to kind of scribble that in. It's going to come all the way up here, and there will just be a lot of loose hair. It's not tight at all. Okay, there we go. And that should help a little bit. Let's kind of do the same to the other side. But this is where finding references is really helpful, because I swear, you never really know what something actually looks like until you try to draw it. Trying to draw things from memory is really, really hard. It's just so much easier to go look at it, or, you know, even sometimes just get vibes. I think it's especially with illustration, as opposed to more realist painting. Vibes is like 90% of the battle. And as long as you get something to feel right, it'll be fine. And you can do anything. And it's great. I like it. That's why I do illustration instead of realism now. Vibes are wonderful. Okay. So there we go. She's feeling a little bit less old to me now. Do I have this hair sitting on her head? Well, I don't think I do. I think I want the center to be a little bit further to the side here. And I don't think that these strands look very good. Let's see if I can do that better. It's hard because they strictly speaking, a lot of them probably should be going on the other side of her head. But I kind of want a couple overlapping her cheek here. And I'm not even doing it to avoid having to draw her cheek or anything. I think that's fine. I do that sometimes, but that's not the case this time. This time, it's just kind of what I want. Okay, I don't like these ones either. I have like a very specific idea in mind, and as I get more specific, it gets harder to draw it quite right. Because it's like when anything goes. Well, I mean, then you draw anything, and you're just like, yeah, that's great. Looks good to me. It's all good. But once I get something specific, I just have to get it right. And then I get particular. And everything becomes so much harder. It's okay, I don't mind. I think it's a good way to be. Okay, and yeah, part of it is also that the bun here is just not sitting on her head right. This part should be going a little further down. This braid here, and I want it to be wrapping around her head a little differently. So I'm just going to plot at it with Liquify until I'm happy. This side I think looks alright though. Although this should be turned a little differently. But besides that, I think it looks fine. Okay. There we go. Shape is kind of starting to come together. I'm probably going to have to redraw a lot of the bun itself, but that's okay. That's totally fine. Right now, I'm just kind of going for the vibes. I want to make sure that everything is kind of close enough. And then later, only later, do I start bringing that more towards perfection. Okay, let's get the dark hair. I think that'll be perfect to frame this braid there. And then maybe just a couple of dark strands out on this side. Okay. And then later, this bun is going to look more like a rose. That detail's not important yet. It's all good. Man, I am so tempted to give her some kind of hat, but no, I don't think that this is a hat dress. Okay, and right now her hair's looking a little bit helmety, so I kind of want something to fix that. I'm not quite sure what yet. I just don't want it to look like she's wearing a helmet. Let's see here. I don't feel like the back of her head is quite big enough yet. She needs to have room for the big brain, so very important. You can't plot with a tiny brain. So there we go. Okay, Let me go look and try to get general vibes for her hairstyle here. Okay. So something that I'm seeing a lot here is some thicker strands in key places. So let's get some of that in. And when it comes to hair, I don't always get this detailed with it. It's just right now, nothing about it feels quite right. So I've been kind of searching out for why that is the case. And then I just go back and make things look a little nicer. And it's great. And I try to get a little bit closer to what I'm picturing each time. So I'm going to add a few more loose strands here. And a lot of the time, I don't even add loose strands and the like until the very end. But here, I just need a little bit more help to get it to look right. So, you know, loose strands it is. This is a little bit too messy. And I don't quite like how bumpy it is. I know what I have in mind, but this does not quite look right. So, you know, that's fine. I'll just keep exploring it until it does. I guess that's okay. How do I feel about it? How do I feel about it? I'm gonna go look at a few more pictures and see, once again, just what helps it look a little nice. Because, you know, I tried to add that little bit of messiness to it, but now her head just looks lumpy, so I don't really like it. I tried one pattern, it didn't work. So now I'm going to try a different one, and I do see that it is fairly common for there to be just a little bit of stuff going around there. And I do think a few loose strands would be helpful, but I got to be very sparing with that. And I'm even going to change how this is being pulled a little bit. I think the pull is going more this direction. Just how her hair is being pulled in order to be put into this bun. Now I'm thinking about that a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that seems okay. I still feel like her head's a little bit skewed. But, you know, now I kind of have a few more means to fix that. I've got some more information. I think I'm going to plot at that with Liquify once again. And then once I'm feeling a little bit more confident with her head here, I'm going to actually put her ears on. It is almost time. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about it? I think her chin might still be a little off-center. Sorry, I've got an extremely itchy eye. I gotta get that out of there. Okay. Phew. Today, I feel like it's just a very, very sleepy day. It snowed a lot. It's very cold. And I'm trying to stay nice and snuggled up in my blankets. And there's just a certain coziness to it that I think is just making me a little bit sleepy. It's not the worst feeling. I think drawing when you're just extremely cozy and very relaxed is a good way to be. Okay. Then you know what? I think once I make this hair sit on her head just a little bit better, I think this will look great. Like I said, I think I just accidentally made her head look really lumpy. Well, not accidentally. I wanted to try a pattern where the hair was a little bit lumpy, but I didn't like it. So now her head just looks lumpy to me, and I gotta fix it. These things happen. It's all good. Okay, so, you know, I think something like that works. I don't know. I don't know if I like the hair still. I think I'm gonna go work on something else for a little while, and I'm gonna revisit this in a bit. But, yeah, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about the hairstyle. I like the idea of just, you know, the braided hair with the bun in the back with a little clip kind of holding it in place. But I don't like the way it looks right now. I'm not quite sure how to make it better. I've been looking at other reference images. And I don't think it's, like, terrible or anything. But, I don't know. It's just not quite working for me. She looks very helmet, not cute. I don't even think this looks particularly elegant like I want it to. So I'll probably just have to redraw the whole thing, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now, because I do feel like her head is in a good enough place that I can start working on her body and making sure everything is proportionate. Now, I did measure the proportions on her model last time. She's about 7 heads tall. And 4 of them are in her legs, so she is more than half leg. So I'm counting out the proportions here. I think I might have her waist just a little bit too high. Or a little bit, yeah, a little bit too high. But I think that's about the only problem that I have. I think the rest look pretty okay. So I think I'm going to go push that down a little bit. Once again, I'm just going to kind of plot at things with Liquify. I'll just pull it down just a touch here. So I'll pull out her hips a little bit right over here. And we'll get those shapes in. Okay. And then I do like this, just kind of going out and wrapping around the chest there. And being kind of nice and round. So I think that shape is good, and I think that all looks a bit better. I do think that her lower body might be a little bit small, though. So I think I'm gonna kind of pull that out just a bit. Or more accurately, I should say it looks a little bit narrow. I do want her to be skinny, but maybe not quite that skinny. And part of it is also the silhouette of the dress. That also has a tendency to make you look a little bit skinnier than you are. But in this case, I was more comparing it with her shoulders, where I wanted her hips and shoulders to be a little bit more aligned. Her hips are narrower than her shoulders on her model, so I'm still going to keep that proportion there, but it was a little bit too much. And I think that this looks a little bit better. So I'm just going to kind of shape through here a bit. Get the kind of shape that I want. And from there, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like most things are pretty proportionate here. So this is just when I kind of get to have some fun and design things. Let's turn the window back on. Now that I feel like I kind of have her head mostly okay. I guess I should probably figure out what I want to do with her other arm too. Maybe finalize the pose a little bit. That is maybe a good idea. Perhaps. So I just gotta have to decide what I want to do with it. So yeah, let's just back up from the beginning here while I make this decision. And what I wanted the general story of this to be was there's, you know, some kind of masquerade party going on. Ye olde political intrigue masquerade ball where everyone's, you know, in masks plotting against each other. Staple of the genre. It seemed like something that would be very fun to design a dress for. And a suit. I'm gonna do both. I couldn't decide which, so I'm gonna do both. But yes, that's the general gist there. And then you see her kind of out by a window, vaguely looking out of it. But it's kind of clear looking at her that she knew that you'd be by here. And she's plotting something, because who's not plotting something at one of those balls, am I right? So that was kind of the general idea there. So I kind of want to put her arms somewhere that continues with the story. So she's in this hand. I haven't designed it yet, but she's going to be holding her mask. And this arm just needs to be doing something. Because I can't just leave her one-armed. That would be rude. So I gotta put it somewhere. I just couldn't quite figure out where. I might just do something simple and put it on her hip there. Not behind her. I'd have to get a new layer for this, and that's fine. I'll do that, I suppose. And I'll just move it around and pick something. Alright, Arm, what are you going to be doing today? Why are you not... What the hell, man? No, I do not want you to teleport to the bottom. I would like you to go on top of everything. That is like literally the opposite of what I had told you to do. Okay. Oh, why are you like this sometimes, Krita? I just want to love you. So I could just do something like this, just something a little bit more relaxed. I kind of don't like it, though. You know, today is just one of those days, I swear. Arms, man, they ruin everything. I don't know if I like that either. I didn't really like it going behind her back, though. Because, like, I could potentially just draw it like, this. And while that is certainly very suspicious, I kind of don't like the pose. And that was true no matter what angle I put this arm at. I did try a few different ones there. So even with it kind of down here, I still did not really like her arm going behind her like this. So this is kind of what I've been thinking about, because art is hard. No. Clearly what I gotta do is just... Who knows what to do with this arm? Who knows? Just shrug. She doesn't know either. Noodle. Arm. Arm that goes everywhere. It's just gonna squiggle. I thought about having her interact with something in the background, but that doesn't really make sense for the arm that's in front of her. And I do explicitly want the mask to be this hand. I do not want it to be this one. It has to be the one on the window side, not the one away from the window. So at the start of stream, I was considering drawing her from the front or the back, and I decided the front. If I was drawing her from the back, that would mean that the arm closer to the viewer would be the one by the window. And so I would have drawn that arm there, and then it would have made sense for her to be touching some stuff over there with the other arm. Art is hard. I mean, I guess I could still have her be poking at the roses or something. If I just had her casually putting an arm down here and just touching the plant down there or something. I don't like it. I don't. I also thought about maybe holding a small drink or something. But I kind of ended up not liking that either. So that would be I bring the arm up and she's just, you know, doing a very casual hold on like a glass here. And then we'd see the glass kind of come out. But I kind of didn't really like that either. It brought her other hand too close to her head and it was a little bit too balanced. I just kind of want this arm to disappear into nothing. Because, yeah, even what if I had her kind of messing with that, that's awkward. Maybe just something off screen? No, I don't like her arm going that way. It would have to be something this way. I don't really want her to be putting her hand in the fire and touching candles. That also seems rude to make someone do. Especially given that I have complete control over the picture. I just don't know what I want to do with this arm, man. It's like the most obvious thing is just kind of what I had going here. But I don't really want her hand to be covering that much of her dress. Also, I still don't like this pose. So, I like the pose in the rest of her body, but not for the arm. And I don't want her to be, like, leaning on the table. It's too short for that. I'd have to make her arm, like, ridiculously long. And also, I just don't think it suits what she's doing. It doesn't suit the story I'm going for. Where she's, you know, kind of expecting you. I guess I could have her... Let me see. Let me erase this. And we'll take the arm. Here, I guess I could have her... kind of lightly holding out her arm toward the viewer. But that, I don't know, it kind of makes her seem too warm and friendly for what I want to do. That's a very friendly kind of pose, just reaching out toward the viewer. So I don't like that either. What about just some of hand on her hip here? Too sassy. I don't like it. Well, I definitely do want some sass in her. It's not that kind. Like, there's sassy and then there's hand on your hip sassy. It's different. Sigh. Okay, what about just, kinda lightly at her side here? The elbow should be higher than that. So I'd need to put the bend in the arm a little bit higher. And then we just kind of get a little sign of her hand here, and the fingers are just, hang it out. I guess that works. Do not mind the mess. It's fine for now. I'm just trying to very quickly cycle through ideas here. And if you spend too much time on each one, it'll take forever to cycle through them all. And, you know, if I took too long to do each one, I'd just never make a decision. Never. And that would just be no good at all. Absolutely no good at all. So there we go. I think I can live with this. I think this is fine. We'll just do a casual hand out the side. I think that works. I just need to find the right place for the hand and whatnot. Do I just have the hand going the wrong way? That sounds like something I'd do. Art continues to be hard. It's fine. It's unfortunate because I just dislike everything that I'm putting down here. This is the kind of thing that makes you spend an hour on one arm. Gonna make a face at the picture and see if it gives me any ideas. Maybe it'll talk to me if I just frown at it enough. I choose to believe. Do I have the bend in the elbow going the wrong way? Do I need it to come a little bit closer to her? Will this look more casual? I'm just gonna try things until I find something. It'll be fine. Because that's not really any better. I guess it's a little better if I turn the hand around. This is a lot of angst for a minor arm, but it does matter, so I gotta figure it out. Okay, I have long accepted that if I wish to do art, I have to be a little bit insane. So there we go. I'll just drive myself a little bit crazy, trying to figure out how this arm works. But I really don't think I can really do anything else until I figure out where that arm is gonna go. Life is hard. Would it look better if I had it on top? Let the hand kind of overlap? Okay, there we go. It thought I'd let go and I didn't, so I got a little confused. Let's see. Does it look better if her hand is just kind of slightly overlapping her hip there? Actually, yes. Okay, I think this is fine. I can live with this. It's not super important, so I think this will be okay. Let's give it a sleeve. And it's going to be a little bit of a mess until I, go ahead and start kind of putting everything in place. Okay. I'm probably going to have to rename some of these layers. That's fine. Now, this is kind of where I get to start designing things. So I'm going to start with the parts that I know. I have a silly little doodle over here. No, it's up here. And this shows the gist of what I want to do. And I had to hide that because I had a silly little doodle on the image there, and I don't want it there anymore, so I think I can just get rid of it now. I don't think I need it anymore. The silhouette of the outfit is quite clear. I'm not quite sure what pattern I'm going to put on her hips yet. This was just something I scribbled. But I do know that I want frills down here. I want lots and lots of frills. And I think that's going to look fantastic. So let's get adding them. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure how some of these are going to be structured. I just know, like, this part here, I'm not quite sure if that's how that's going to look. I haven't decided. But this I know is going to be true. So, at the top, where it starts turning into the mermaid tail, I want some black frills. And they will be slanted. And they will be sparkly. There will be glitter involved. There is going to be so much glitter involved, and I am very excited for it. I love glitter. So, there we go. Let's make it frilly. And then I want to do the same thing with kind of the red part. There's going to be red frills coming out here too. They're going to be smaller, though. And then there's going to be some gold trim on them. And this part I see quite clearly in my head. So I think it is safe for me to go draw it right now. Okay, and now I get a better understanding of what I was thinking of when I was thinking of this, because I think I foresaw that I was going to need something to kind of come out this way like this, in order to make all these frills make sense. So I want them to be coming out of like the back side of the frill here. It doesn't quite read yet, but I think it will once I add in some shadows here. There we go, and... now I just gotta make sure that it looks like the frills are coming out where they're supposed to. And then this part will go behind. I want that kind of shape. I want them to go behind it back here. It's a little hard to see right now, but it'll be fine once I kind of refine everything. And they'll come out kind of looking like that. I think that's fine. This is sufficient for the time being. And the dark frills have kind of an interesting task in that I want them to be a little bit translucent. So I will be dropping the opacity on them. Do I like that idea? You know what? I'm going to leave them solid for now. I will make that decision a little bit later. Okay. Now I just start turning more and more of the dress into frills. Or it's just frills all the way down. And this is something that I know right now, which is why I'm doing it right now. Whereas I'm a little bit less sure what I want to do with parts of the upper body. So, you know, let's get the part that I know for sure. This is what I saw in my head when I decided, yes, I need to draw this. I wanted to draw this outfit. I wanted to draw this spot specifically. And it's just going to be a little scribbly for a while, and that's fine. It'll get better. I'll refine it and make it lovely later. Right now, I just kind of got to get the idea down. Okay, so time for the next layer of dark frill. And then I think there's going to be one more layer of red frill. And then I'm going to get this part over here. That part will be a little bit less clear here, but I think that's okay. Okay, and then with this, that will be the parts that are the most clear in my head done. Or at least, you know, sketched out. That's probably a better way to put it at this stage. I don't think I can really call anything done yet. But I like this. I think this looks really nice. So, I can keep it. I can keep the idea. I think it is very successful here. And I also kind of get the urge to put some more gold somewhere through here, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to work yet. Okay, so this was the part most clear in my head. And now I kind of got that on there, and I like it. I think it's good. So now, well, it's just time to design the rest. So what else do I want to do here? It's really tough. It is. So currently, you know, some of my ideas, I knew I kind of wanted that translucent cape in the back. Right now, it doesn't really read strongly. I'm probably gonna have to put something on it, but I'm not quite sure what yet. And I kind of feel the need to put some of the gray in her eyes a little bit, you know, somewhere else too, and I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do that. And maybe some of the white in her hair. I think that kind of needs to be coming to some of these places, I think the glitter will help. Let's put some glitter down. I only want frills or the glitter on the black part. So I just like using Krita's Starfield brush for glitter. It's very fast, very efficient, and looks good in my opinion. I'm a fan. I'm just gonna keep plopping glitter on there until I'm happy, and I think that's probably good. And I'll shade it and stuff a bit later. I guess I can put some basic shading on now. There we go. Basic shading, just so it doesn't bother me. Okay. But yeah, I like that. I think it's great. And the other thing I was considering is making it a little bit more translucent. That I don't like quite as much, but what I think might look interesting is if I kept most of the frills dark. But I did put like a little bit of extra frill on the end, so it's like frills on frills. Perfect frillception here. Where I just had a little bit of translucency coming out the edge here. Maybe a little bit more opaque than that. But only on the black parts. Okay, I like that. And so we'll have something like that. And I think that works. And it also has glitter, because of course it does. Why wouldn't I put glitter on it? So that's what I had in mind for the lower part, and that was the vast majority of what I had planned up to this point. So now I just need to figure out her upper body. Maybe I can revisit her hair again now. Maybe I can do something a little bit more sane here. I like the idea. I like the idea of her hair being up instead of down like it normally is. I plan to keep it down for the suit end, make it a little bit more feminine, but I don't know. For this dress, to me, it makes sense to keep her hair up. So now but this doesn't mean I have to keep like all of it up. I have seen quite a few where, you know, parts of it are up, but then you have some, I'll use the darker color so I can maybe see it a little bit better. But then, you know, you have some parts coming down like that. I just think it's kind of wild how much this, a particular hairstyle and the way that her hair exists, the two-toned hair, just gives me Frankenstein's wife way too hard. And it's been bothering me. So that's kind of been my problem. And honestly, just putting it down just made that impression even worse. I don't know why it's happening, but that is just what I see. So it's entirely possible that I just can't do front braids like that. Because I think that's where a lot of it comes from, and that might be what's throwing me off here. Because it looked great in my head. But once I see it down, I just cannot unsee Frankenstein's wife. And I don't want that. It's just one of those things, you know? Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna go put some trees in the background, and then I'll go work on the design some more. I am bothered by everything. Okay. So I'm gonna take this color, but make it very close to black instead. And I'm just gonna use Krita's leaf brush, because I can. I'll refine it later, but the leaf brush, really useful for just, getting some basic things in. This needs to be even closer to black. I'm surprised. That was pretty dang dark. So there we go. We're gonna just get some trees back here. And then on the white side of her head, I want to keep things pretty dark. So we'll put some extra trees there. And just some kind of coming up here. Okay. I'm satisfied. I could go back to molding over hairstyles. Alright, let's go look at the internet for some inspiration. Okay. Oh man, I can go way harder on the floof if I want, but nah. I think this is a perfect amount of floof. I think this is a wonderful amount of floof. So right now, I'm mostly just trying to look at their hair, see kind of what they're doing with it. You know, I could put the bun higher up on the head. No, I don't think that fixed the issue. I think I just have to get rid of the braids idea. So that means I'm gonna have to be doing something else with her bangs. So let's kind of see what I want to get going here. Do I want her to have a hat? Like initially I was thinking no. I don't think it really works. Still kind of leaning no. But I could probably put a hairband or something there. I'm not sure, like... But when I think of this kind of dress, my first thought would be like a little tiara or something, but no, she is definitely not a tiara girl. That would be a little bit weird. So... I don't really want her to keep her hair down. I mean... Her hair is actually really ridiculous because... Like, look at this little ball of hair here. That is a curled up braid meant to look like a flower. And her hair already goes down to her knees. Just imagine how long it would be if she didn't have this little curled up bit of braid in her hair. Like, it would be dragging on the floor. So I really don't want her to have her hair down. I want to make sure that it's at least consistent with what has been established here. And while getting a haircut for a party like this wouldn't exactly be unreasonable, if I did it like that, then, you know, she'd never be able to go back to her original hairstyle, and that would just be a travesty. So, no, I don't want her to have her hair down. Hair must be up. And then I want to have the rose bun somewhere in there. A little ball of hair. I saw her draw it once, but, man. It has been a while since I've been this stumped on it because that hairstyle looked so good in my head. So I didn't really go and look for any other ideas because I thought that it would be perfect. But something about it is just, given, it's not working. Okay, so I just gotta try a bunch of other patterns. I'm gonna keep this one. Let's try to find a silhouette that I dig. I'm not gonna delete anything, I'm just going to hide it. And from there, I can, you know, try something else. So I don't know, if I had just her hairline here, it's gonna go kind of like that. And I realize I still haven't drawn her ears yet. Don't worry about it. I want to figure out the hair. Trying to figure out how the hair goes around the ears is what made me think of it. Okay. I'm just gonna draw it in the dark color for now. And I'll make it look nice. And, you know, I'll add all the extra colors in a little bit. And like I said, I don't want her hair to be down. Because otherwise, you know, I think something like this with it kind of draping on her shoulder could look nice. Maybe not on that side. I think if I were to do that, it'd have to be this side. So, you know, something like that could be okay, but I just really don't want her to have her hair down. Oh god, I really hope it's just not the nature of the hair that's giving me that impression. Ah, that would be so inconvenient. I drew her once and I didn't feel that way, but I also drew the hat and I barely drew any hair at all. There's just something about this particular gray mixed with this particular white that just makes me feel that way. And if that's the case, and if it's going to be like that for like literally every hairstyle, then maybe I just deal with it. Oh, this side would be black anyway, so let's see. Sorry if I'm being silent for a little bit. I gotta think about this. I didn't expect it to be this hard to decide. So I do like the idea of the other one. If I get rid of the braids, does it help? And I just maybe let her have bangs? I'm gonna duplicate this. And I'm just going to replicate her bangs as they are. And I'll see if that works any better. So let's see here. We got the one kinda... You know what? I'm gonna find a higher quality one out on the internet here. And I will use that instead. There we go. That's good. That is much easier to see, and this way I don't have to be scrolling back and forth so much. Because doing that a lot kind of drives me nuts. Admittedly, I actually have the references on screen more to help people watching than for me, because I prefer just having things up on Google Images. And I just find that easier. Okay. So let's just try to get some bangs in there, and we'll see how I feel about it. Because yes, they're gonna be just flat on the top here. They cover her eyes? Not really. Okay. and I'll get in some strands. Because it all kind of will connect like that. And eventually, you know, it'll all be pulled back and into the bun there. How does that side hair look? It's a little bit more like that. There we go. Okay, this actually looks better. Just keeping her bangs the same. I think it works. Let me see. Do I have an image of her facing the other way? Yeah, there we go. I just want to make sure I draw the side hair right. And maybe I'll do something a little different, just to, I don't know, make it a little bit more elegant and special, but this is fine for now. And frankly, I think it's saving the entire thing. So there we go. Okay. I feel better. Look, it can be very, very frustrating when there is something wrong and you just can't place why, and it slowly drives you insane. But there we go. I can live with this. This feels all right. And then I just keep that with a few loose strands. So let's make it a little bit bigger, since it probably has more hair than usual. It'll just be a very large bun, and then, you know, the petal-like bits in the hair. And that'll be nice, and I can make it look like a little rose. Okay. This works for me. Okay. All is well. And then I think I'm gonna do a little bit more thinking about the dress. Is there anything else I want to poke at before I stop for today? Not really, but you know what? I am looking forward to working on this more. My mind has been a little bit preoccupied. Because yeah, I guess just a talk lightly about things. I am trying to figure out the meaning to life, and that takes a lot of brain power, so I haven't had quite as much for art this past week. So for my various speed paints, I don't think I'm gonna put them on pause. I'm pretty far through the one for early this week, but I joke and call it the meaning of life, but it's reasonably accurate. I just really want to get a better handle on where I want to take my content. And as much as I like just coming out and drawing things for the internet and talking about them, I do think it's a good time. I kind of want to do a bit more than that. It's one of those things that's hard to describe, and frankly, I don't know where I want to go enough to properly talk about it. I've rambled about this a little bit on stream a bit, and I'm just at a point where I gotta figure this out. I gotta stop procrastinating. Because, you know, for a while, I would generally go in a few month stretches where I'd be like, okay, I want to know how to do this, so I'm gonna learn how to do this. And, you know, it was fine. Learning is great. But my heart craves something more. I just don't know what it is. And it's driving me nuts. I like the way this picture's coming out, though. I wish I could give a better commentary justice. But, with as noisy as my brain is feeling, I just kinda gotta get through that. So, I hope you'll bear with me while I let my mind be very full of things. Making it very hard to come up with other things I want to say on stream. So today was a very much what am I doing in the moment kind of thing. But nonetheless, I do hope that it was interesting and that, you know, maybe you picked up a thing or two from it if it was... If any of my incoherent rambling managed to make sense. At the very least. I do like where this picture's going. I'm staring at it and now I want to fix things. So, I'll go ahead and do that. I've got time for it. It's mostly just the color in the background. I think I want it to be a little bit brighter. Oh man, even at pure white, it's not doing what I want, so that tells me that maybe these colors aren't right. And I just gotta poke at it for a little bit. I can do that. Always can. Oh, what is... Oh, I do have another layer sitting on top. It's true. Okay. I was momentarily confused. There's still another one, huh? No, there's not. Oh, I see. It's the glow layer. Okay. That's fine. We'll leave it like that there. I just can't help but feel that I want something a little bit, yellower here. I could potentially get behind red. Red was looking over all right. And I think part of it is just that my lighting is incorrect at the moment. And that's probably making things look weird. Okay, let's go turn the colors back on. I don't need this layer anymore. Okay, let's go turn the colors back on. There we go. Always end with all the layers on. So this way I can see the overall composition, and I think that's going to be good. I'm going to have to do a bunch of weird stuff with lighting, and I'm still looking forward to rendering this. So all of these references I've got sitting around here are the art style I kind of want to try to render a little bit more like. I'm not going to try to copy it one-to-one. I just want to try to steal some of this artist's secrets, because I think his style is wonderful. I'd like to try to incorporate it into some of what I do. So I just picked a very simple composition, so I could do the two things I wanted to do most. Design a cool dress and suit, and do some nice soft shading based on what that guy does. Yes. But I think I'll go ahead and stop here for today. And I'll try to bring all the energy I can muster for Copy Kitty tomorrow. And we're getting into rendering on Nitya. So I am hopeful that maybe I can come up with something interesting to talk about for that. For then. I had a lot of thinking to do with this one. Design is hard, and I just could not get certain things to look right. I still kind of hate her arm, so I'll probably revisit that again. Maybe I'll try doing the pose in the mirror. And just kind of see what I've got in mind here. Art is hard. It's okay. But I do think that I will stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.